Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Management Charlton from MLC Tech. Now, as of yesterday, Apple revealed the M5 Pro and the M5 Mac chipsets that have been their latest and greatest for the MacBook Pro lineup, revealing up to 18 CPU cores, 40 GPU cores, and fast unified memory, all on a single package. And they also feature the next generation of their GPUs with a neural accelerator embedded into each core, designed to boost on AI workloads. So let's take a dive into the Apple M5 Pro and the M5 Pro Max. The normal baseline M5 that we saw as of yesterday put into the MacBook Air as well, and that was a really impressive chip. Now, overall gains over the last generation, the M4 chip was still okay, but not groundbreaking. But what made the M5 even better was the NPU and neural accelerators that they put onto that. That made that thing a monster, not just for AI workloads, but for a lot of media engine workloads, which for most people who buy Macs, it's usually developers or creative people, such as people who edit photo, film, music. So that was a pretty significant upgrade, which made the baseline MacBook Pro, just a normal M5, one hell of a deal. And that was the conventional single die design, whereas the M5 Pro and the M5 Max moved to Apple's new Fusion architecture, which is something that we've seen in AMD and Intel as well. With their chiplet design architecture, Intel once said it was just glued together CPU dies when they were being salty because they had no competition. Now they're going in a much better direction. But the way Apple has done this is that this advanced packaging technology that they have implemented combines two dies into a single SoC, integrating the CPU, GPU, media engine, unified memory controller, neural engine, and the Thunderbolt 5 support into one single overall package, even though they're spread across multiple chiplets and dies, but still on the same substrate, still on the same SoC. But let's dive into what does the Pro and Max SoCs actually feature. Well, they both feature an 18-core CPU, so the CPU configurations aren't as modular as we saw in previous iterations, where I think we saw 4 different SKUs of CPU core configuration and combined with multiple GPU core configurations as well, which made the product stack a bit more messy and a bit more confusing, and also more SKUs equals more manufacturing costs as well. But this is up from the 14 core layout that we saw on the M4 Pro and the 16 core configuration on the M4 Max. Each SKU of the M5 Pro and M5 Max both get 18 cores of CPUs. Now, Apple says the core layout of these SoCs are a bit of a mixed design, as we saw with AMD making little Zen cores and big Zen cores, and Intel bringing performance and efficiency cores as well. But Apple says 6 of those cores are what they call their big super cores, built to handle the most demanding tasks, while as the 12 are labelled performance cores. But the thing I'm most excited about is the graphics capability of these chips. Now, Apple says it's an entirely new generation of their GPU architecture, all still built on TSMC's 3nm processors, which is still the cutting edge of consumer process node technology. Now, the M5 Pro carries a 20-core GPU, whereas the M5 Max doubles that to 40 cores. And Apple says their new GPUs deliver up to 20% high graphics performance and provide as much as 60% faster ray trace performance in game titles such as Cyberpunk 2077, compared to the MacBook Pro powered by the M4 Pro. Now, 20% is something to Scott that is not generational bounds and leaps in performance. It's still what we should be getting from the likes of NVIDIA, where you saw a lot of product stagnation, where each generation, you got the 4060, it's like a 5060, but performs slightly better due to the new RT cores, but the core performance is still the same, but more efficiency. Example, there's lots of different trade-offs, whereas a solid 20% high graphics performance while also still bring efficiency gains as well. That's really impressive. But this GPU isn't just going to shine a bit more in gaming, because let's be honest, no one's buying a Mac because they want to play games. It's nice to have on the go. I did like that with my MacBook, because I don't typically game on the go. I'm not really an on the go gamer. I have an ROG Ally for when I want to game on the go. But the thing that excites me the most is not just the GPU abilities, it's also the chips bring an upgraded neural processing hardware aimed at accelerating on-device AI tasks, though they can be applied to multiple other creative tasks that leverage the similar sort of workloads. Now, Apple claims an up to 30% faster performance in professional workloads and as much as 4 times faster on LLM prompt processing versus the M4 Max and M4 Pro, which is impressive, but Apple hasn't been so forthcoming whether the neural processing engine on the M5 and versus the M5 Pro Max is going to be different, because that was something that made the baseline M5 so impressive, was that neural processing hardware. It made it pointless in a way to spend so much more money on those higher tier MacBook Pros when you can get the baseline with the M5 Pro. And if you're doing development and LLM work, other certain professional workloads that straight up don't leverage just raw amount of GPU cores that you can throw at it, it was really impressive. And it made pretty much every laptop in that class, every other thin and light, every portable long battery life laptop, it made it, well, obsolete. Now, to leverage this increased performance isn't just straight up, oh, more frequency, more GPU compute, more IPC performance, more cores, more everything. It's also the memory that these SoCs bring as well. Now, how do you boost GPU performance even more typically? Well, you chuck high bandwidth, high capacity memory at it. Now, the M5 Pro now supports up to 64 gigabytes of unified memory, with bandwidths reaching 307 gigabytes per second compared to 48 gigabytes and 276 gigabytes per second on the M4 Pro. So that's still a pretty noticeable improvement in memory bandwidth. And the M5 keeps the same maximum 128 gigabyte capacity, but has increased its bandwidth from 546 gigabytes to 614 gigabytes per second, which is very impressive. And this is on a laptop chip. We're not talking about AMD's or Nvidia's latest big beefy GPU that, requires a big cooler, 600 watts of power. We're talking about something designed for the MacBook Pro. And apparently the chips also integrate a new always-on memory safety feature called Memory Integrity Environment. I imagine that would be something similar to ECC, error correction memory, where uptime reliability is very heavily important, especially with the type of workloads that Apple is trying to pose the M5 Pro and M5 Max towards, especially the entire Pro. Apple are finally just going, yeah, the Pro series is actually for professionals, not just anyone who just wants to browse social media or do a quick photo edit in Lightroom. No, I'm super happy to see Apple is finally saying, no, Cs are for professionals. So someone who's doing all these development workloads, actually someone who's editing in ProRes or higher bandwidth file formats, no, this is the laptop for you. With the MacBook Air and now the MacBook Neo officially confirmed as of today, stepping in for people with those lighter tasks. And both of these processors support Thunderbolt 5 connectivity, with each port being powered by a custom Apple design controller. Now that's interesting that each port is getting their own individual controller each, and that it's customly designed by Apple. Thunderbolt 5 is a licensed form of technology, so the fact that Apple's made a custom design controller, could that be so they don't have to pay certain licensing fees, or is their solution just so much better than anything else that they could buy from a competitor? So to wrap it up, the M5 Pro and the M5 Max have officially debuted in Apple's newly announced 16 and 14-inch MacBook Pro models. Now, even though these chips are expected to appear in other Macs over time, I am still waiting on that Mac Studio refresh. I would have bought one by now, but I don't want something that's still stuck on the M2 platform in my workflow. If they brought out an M5 based MacBook Studio, even though I have a pretty big beefy desktop setup for all my AR workloads, still having something that's a small form factor that offers that much performance, yeah, I would buy one. I'm a little disappointed that all of the rumours and theories didn't come true for this. It was expected that when they were going to launch the M5 Pro and the M5 Max, that it would come debuted with the new MacBook design, which is meant to feature a body redesign and also feature tandem OLED screens. The fact that we've still not got this yet is why I'm not going to be buying one. I was going to buy a MacBook Pro last year, but I was like, oh, but if I hold on another year, we're going to get the new design, the new tandem OLED, a potential touchscreen in it as well. All the features I'm super excited for. And so I am a little disappointed that we're still on the old design, the current screen design. Don't get me wrong, that mini LED design is still beautiful and those colours pop. But the fact that we're so close to getting that massive revolutionary upgrade to OLED, I'm not going to buy one. I'm super impressed with the hardware, but I am holding out because this is quite an investment for me in a laptop device. I want something that can do everything, so I want the best thing for my media consumption as well. I like to consume media on my laptop because I see it as an all-in-one. I like to work hard and play hard when I'm working at a laptop environment. When I'm off traveling, I like to be able to enjoy everything because it is an overall package that I bring with me everywhere. But the pricing for these laptops start at $1,199 for the 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M5 Pro, while the 14-inch M5 Max configuration begins at $3,599, which is a hell of a lot for a laptop, but considering you're getting quite a lot for the performance, especially that M5 Pro, that's always been a pretty sweet spot. The M5 Pro is pretty much the best of both worlds. So you get that increased GPU core count, you get the increased GPU core count, and also without sacrificing too much efficiency at battery life, whereas the Max chips tend to hammer battery life a lot more because it's got that big 40-core GPU in it. So I've always found the Pro line of the M chips to be the perfect sweet spot between power and efficiency, and also cost. Don't get me wrong, more than $2,000 is a lot of money, but you are actually getting value for that. You're not just ridiculously spending money and getting nothing in return as you go higher and higher and higher. As we typically see with hardware, the more you spend, the more diminishing gains you get in performance. Whereas I think if you spend a little extra in this price range, you are getting, well, a lot. So I'm super excited. I think this is going to be great for a lot of developers, a lot of creative people who edit a lot of heavy footage, a lot of people who deal with massive development projects, a lot of AI, LLM projects. This is going to run so fast so well, especially because it's all unified memory as well. So AI workloads love, well, lots of RAM, but they love speed as well. And a unified design makes it great to share between system, the GPU, and all the other resources required. It's just overall, it looks like this is going to be a very impressive package. I would go out and buy one, but for my personal workloads, I do a lot of development and stuff that I could get by on macOS. But a lot of my workloads that I do in my personal AI development, in terms of the work that I actually do, the workloads that I do work for, are all heavily Linux based. So for me to make the jump to macOS again for my professional workstation, it's a much harder pill for me to swallow. But though if I was on other coding frameworks, other platform codeworks, it makes perfect sense. But I am heavily reliant on CUDA for my workloads. I am currently trapped in the CUDA workspace for the type of work I do, the type of development I do. I'm heavily reliant on CUDA workloads and workloads optimized for Linux deployment as well. So that's why I won't be making the jump as of yet. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions about the M5 Pro and the M5 Max in the comments down below. What do you think of these new chips, and are you looking to get a new MacBook Pro, or are you holding out for any of the other SKU revisions such as the Mac Studio or the newly designed and revised MacBook Pro design with a tandem OLED, for example? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions about this in the comments down below. Anyway, I have been Madison Charlton from MLC Tech. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another one soon. Goodbye for now.